Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the second edition of Me, Myself, and I. Just a quick little announcement, just so you guys know, I am hopefully going to be able to make one of these weekly. I'm hoping to be able to make a Me, Myself, and I podcast every Monday of every week. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be able to happen. But if you've watched the last one, you know that the way I had it set up was I had, myself talking into the microphone in three different spots. And it was really cool. I was kind of the premise of, me, myself, and I. But instead of being an hour to record and like an hour to edit, it ended up being like 2.5 hours to record and then like 4 to edit. So I'm going to be trying a different format for today's podcast. I hope it turns out good, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. So to get right into things, I think we're going to start off with today's first topic, and that topic is going to be Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was thinking about it earlier this week. What a great show. What a great piece of probably all of our childhood. I mean, you have this young little kid who wants to escape from home, who doesn't want to accept his responsibilities, and then realize that his whole world kind of crumbled around him because of one silly decision that he made. He comes out as this 12-year-old kid that's actually like 112, and he meets these great side characters, Katara and Sokka and Toph and so many others along the way. Let's look at the counterpart, Legends of Korra. Now I know these both of these shows are kind of old, and I know it's a little out of date to be talking about them, but I was thinking about it. I just had to say something about it, okay? Legend of Korra sucks toes, man. That show is garbage. It is straight doo doo. That show is garbage. And before you run to the comments, it is not because she's a woman. All right? Has nothing to do with the fact that Korra is a woman. I would say if I had to sum it all up is that Aang was all about being in the moment and figuring out what is the right thing to do, what is the spiritual, what would my ancestors, or what would the past generations of avatars want to do, whereas Korra is a just go out throwing punches and see, who cares about what happens. It's just we're just going to fight just to fight. And I mean, it's very present in how she acts. She honestly, when I remember watching the show, which has like 3 or 4 seasons, and I remember I would sit around and I would just watch the show and I would count. I was like, okay, let's count how many times this waterbender avatar actually uses water in her attacks. And it's so very, very few. I was counting, and she more times than not is using fire. She's using fire as her main source of all of the elements. And to me, it's just like, what? Like, when Aang was becoming an avatar, he struggled so hard to learn Earth because Earth was the opposite of air. He would use Earth, but even then, when he fought, oh my gosh, Fire Lord Ozai, when he fought him, okay, he was still using air. I mean, he used Earth, but nothing like the way Korra uses fire. And to me, it's just like, if you're truly this avatar that's like all the avatars before you, then you would not be using fire all this time. You would stick to your native element of water, which is part of my problem with her, is that she doesn't seem to have this sense of responsibility. I'm gonna word it. Like, Aang felt very heartbroken about his people. He felt like when he first learned to use fire, he hurt Katara, and that hurt him. He had this sort of calmness to him, whereas Korra, she's so rambunctious. She's so rambunctious that she cut off her line to all of the other avatars. And to me, it's just like that shows such irresponsibility. It was so hard for me to like her. On top of that, her sidekick buddy, whatever the polar bear's name is, I forgot what the polar bear's name is not a likable character. Literally everyone that I talk to about Avatar: The Last Airbender, they love Appa. Appa is like a staple in the entire franchise, which brings me to my next point of The Legend of Korra does not have very good side characters. With Avatar: The Last Airbender, like especially for me, like young boys, we were like fanboying over Katara, because she was like, she had this crazy side. She was calm. She had so many different character traits. And on top of that, you have Sokka, who is this like crazy genius with all these ideas that he has, but he's also hilarious. You just like sometimes I found myself even as an adult watching them and just dying of laughter because of how funny he does, of the funny things that he does. Where in Legend of Korra, it has been like I think less than a year since I watched the entire series, and I don't remember. I, Bofa? No, that's no. Hold on. um, Buh, Bubba something is the one Earthbender guy. I think his name starts with a B. That's just that to me. That's how forgettable the characters are. Because with Korra, she falls in love with the one guy, and then like oh, I don't really like you. I want the other guy. But then that guy has like problems, so now she's back with the other guy. So you have this like weird love triangle, and to me, it's just like I don't care about all your stupid romances. A brother just wants to see you learn, learn these elements and become a calm and like a leader of people. An avatar in my mind should be a leader, and that's what Aang was. I mean, he led a whole army because he was so calm, he was so smart, he thought so much, he was so in tone with his spirit. And I know that's because he's an airbender. I understand that. But Korra had her role model of Katara. So what was her excuse for not taking in some of her knowledge of thinking before she act? So for me, I just had to get it off my chest. I don't think The Legend of Korra is good. If you've watched it and you disagree with me, that's fine. You're welcome to disagree with me. I could probably argue with 30 people about why I hate Legends of Korra. It's not good. It is not good. As a standalone show, is it okay? Yeah, it's not terrible. But when you compare it to what I would like call a masterpiece of a show, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the two are like basically uncomparable. However, while we are in the realm of TV and movie, let's talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. My good Oh, first of all, spoilers ahead, okay? Spoiler warning. My goodness, was that a good movie. Like so many good elements to the movie. I think the best part of it was the fact that you get to see Spider-Man Peter Parker finally evolve into an independent character. I know I'm not the only one when I say this, but he I never really felt like we got to meet the real Peter Parker because everything Peter Parker did was reliant on either Tony Stark or Tony Stark technology. Excuse me. Spider-Man, Homecoming. He spends the entire movie except for like the last little bit in Tony Stark's suit, and when he's not in Stark's suit, you get to see how strong and how smart he really is. But then immediately after he gets the suit back and he's just kind of like, I'll rely on this technology and then Far From Home, he relies on the Edith glasses and then he's relying on the new suit and it's so much relying on building his whole character arc around Stark Industries. And for me, it was awesome to be able to walk into this show okay, into this movie. At first, I was very concerned that it was going to be more of the same. Tony Stark, was still in the Iron Spidey suit. He was still like, it seemed like he was kind of lost. And then even when he was trying to cure the bad guys, he was like, okay, I need Doctor Strange. No, I don't need Doctor Strange, but I need to heal them. But how am I going to heal them? I'm going to use Stark technology. But then by the end of the movie, you get to see him, living his own life. And I am so excited for that. He has his own apartment. He's made a new suit which I'm so excited for. Okay, I enjoyed the Tony Stark suit from Civil War and Homecoming. I was not a huge fan. I thought the black from Far From Home was kind of weird. I didn't like it seemed almost like Miles Morales themed, which was a little like I feel like the black suit and is like a Venom or Miles Morales thing, like keeping it dark. For me, it was just like, why would you include dark? Where's the classic, blue and red? And so then you only see it for a second, all right? But you see him, running around in that Spidey suit for the last little bit. And one thing that I didn't even realize that I was missing from my life was his suit not being so like CGI skin tight. Because my wife and I, we went back and we watched some of the Spider-Man, and I was watching the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. And when he's flying through the air, there's little like flaps in his speedo because it's stretchy material. And so there's like little wrinkles and there's like little, almost I'm gonna say imperfections with his suit because it's not technology. It's literally spandex material that this high school kid threw together to call a Spider-Man suit. And so now we're moving towards I guess an era, if you want to call it, of Tom Holland being able to actually be his own Spider-Man. Because up until now, not only have I felt like he's been too reliant on Tony Stark, I feel like he's been stupid up until this movie. Okay? I just feel like okay, in Spider-Man Homecoming, this dude, tried to make a difference and ended up tearing a boat apart. Now then, was it all his fault? No. But for the most part, it was his fault with how he handled that situation. Okay? Spider-Man, all right? Far From Home. He just handed the Edith glasses over. Like without questioning anything. You're just like, I don't want my responsibility. Handed it over. Boom, instantly his fault, okay? Which is fine, okay? But I feel like he never learned from either of those mistakes. I feel like he came out just as stupid and just as almost weak seeming as he did before, okay? So next we have Spider-Man No Way Home, okay? He makes the first of okay, we're gonna get into the whole Doctor Strange thing because like what the heck is going on with him in a second, all right? But let's start with this, okay? He wants this spell. He partially ruins the spell, okay? And then Doctor Strange comes up with a quick and easy fix for the spell, and then Tom Holland, Spider Peter Parker's like, you know what? No, I got this, and then ends up causing so many more problems. And so it was satisfying to see this problem end in a way where Peter Parker seems like he's actually grown and seems like he's actually learned from his mistakes, which was really, really nice. And it also was refreshing because, maybe Tony Stark wasn't able to do that because Tony Stark went to, Iraq, Afghanistan, overseas, and that's where he learned. But Tom Holland, Peter Parker, went all the way to space, had all these, literally died, had all these near death experiences, and he's still like, la la la, woo. And so it was nice to finally, as sad as this, it was nice to see his aunt die and him lose everything. Okay, I'm going to say that. Because that's part of who Peter Parker is. If Tom Holland, Peter Parker, Spider Man, had never lost anything super close to him, then there wouldn't be this almost like learning to master his powers and learning to master his responsibility. I mean, yes, he lost Tony Stark, but Tony Stark, he'd only known him for a short while before he died. And so was he a role model? Yes, but we needed to see Peter Parker lose those closest to him in order to grow. And I think it was awesome how they did it. I think it was awesome including Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and maybe want to go back and watch their movies. And I think overall it was by far okay. It was almost the best Spider-Man. And here's why I say almost. What on earth was going on with Doctor Strange? That makes no sense to me. I mean, you have this guy who, is kind of a rule breaker when he first becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. But then when he meets Tony Stark, Tony Stark's like, hey, why don't you just like flip time, or you like just throw this what does he say?
If Thanos needs all six, why don't we just stick this one down the garbage disposal?
No can do.
Yeah, he says that. And Doctor Strange is like, no, I could never. Like, this holds too much value. And then here comes Peter Parker up in Doctor Strange and is like, hey, can you help me out? And Doctor Strange's like, yeah, sure. Instantly does it. And it's like, to me, it why? Why did Doctor Strange just so simply be like, yeah, I can do that for you? And for me in the audience, I was just like, okay, that's obviously not Doctor Strange. That's Mr. Fisto, or the like evil side of Doctor Strange. I forget what his name is. If I discover it, I'll put it right there. I don't remember. But why would he so willingly do that? It makes no sense to me. Why on earth would this Sorcerer Supreme, who apparently isn't the Sorcerer Supreme anymore, but well, that's my next point. Why would he just so willingly cast a spell across the multi-dimensional universe when he knew like next to nothing about it and be so okay with it? And to me, it was just like, that's not what Doctor Strange would do, and the fact that he did it begs to question of like, was that really Doctor Strange? And if based on that movie, I don't think that was Doctor Strange. And on top of that, my second point, when Tom Holland, Peter Parker, first meets Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange's like, the Eye of, or the Time Stone has been destroyed. And then, like, in the next scene or two, you see him wearing the Eye of Agamotto. And so I will look this up later, and maybe, let's look it up right now. I doubt that there is any reason. The Eye of Agamotto is a separate magical artifact from the Time Stone. The Time Stone may be destroyed, but Strange still has the eye. When Theodo crushed the eye in Infinity War, he literally called it a fake. Okay, so let's look at another opinion. Okay, from Doctor Strange: The Multiverse Madness synopsis, we know that he continues his research on the Time Stone. The Eye of Agamotto was a revered artifact by the sorcerers at Kamatage. Okay. So, okay, I guess that makes sense, is that it's a separate artifact. So that is less of a question I have, okay. But still, I think it's a little sussy how he was acting in this movie. And then on top of that, if you've seen Shang-Chi, then you know that Dr. Wong, or not Dr. Wong, that Wong was fighting the Abomination, which was like very weird. But he's fighting this Abomination for like money illegally, and it's just like, what is going on? Which is honestly my biggest question for Marvel right now. What is going on with your freaking universe, man? Like, you had this great, just, I mean, movie poetry buildup of this, ever increasing, exponentially increasing universe, where it starts off with Tony Stark, making his mistakes. I mean, I guess it technically starts off with Captain America, and then like Captain Marvel. Ugh, hate that movie. Starts off with this first movie, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, and that movie is like, it's great. I mean, I know it's people have their opinions on it, but as a first Marvel movie, casting Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark was, first of all, that was a risk, but it paid off. And you get this character arc of like the best acting, best comic, best book brought to life that's like ever happened. And you have all this great, fighting between Captain America and Tony Stark, and then you have them actually fighting, and then you have them come to peace, and then you have them, come, and you have all these, character tropes between, Captain America and Black Widow. You have Black Widow, Bruce Banner. You have all this sort of dysfunctioning togetherness, and then then the snap happens, Endgame happens, Far From Home happens, and then you have all of this like, what's going on? Like with Eternals, with Shang-Chi, with Black Widow, and No Way Home. Those are the 4 movies that have been out after Far From Home. I think. If there's another one, let me look it up. Let me double check. Yeah, okay. Those are the 4 movies. Black Widow, Or yeah, Black Widow, Far From Home, No Way Home, and then Shang-Chi. Wait, Black Widow, No Way Home, Shang-Chi, and then Eternals. Okay, those are the four movies that have like come out in this new, I guess, because I'm pretty sure that Phase 4 ended with Far From Home. So you have those four movies that have come out. And after watching all four of them, I have no idea what the point of watching just about any of them was. Was it enjoyable to watch No Way Home? Yes. Was it enjoyable to watch Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals? Yes, 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 yes. Okay? But like my thing is that you're going to spend 20 years building up these characters. I deserve to now be put back in a comforting world where they still exist. So, like, I'm now going from, you know, the Avengers are like, the coolest, baddest cats on the block to now the Eternals have just been chilling this whole time. And then some celestial tries to come out from the Earth's core, and everyone, like all the Avengers and like all the, Shield, Nick Fury, everyone's just kind of like, loo, loo, loo. And it's just like, I don't know these Eternals people, and they've just apparently been here this whole time. And so for me, I just wish that this next phase of Marvel had more direction because it seems like the way they're going, which if they go this way is fine, that they might just be doing like kind of like individual movies for a while, which is okay, but then stop trying to make it seem like they connect somehow. Like, it just seems like they're all supposed to connect. And for me and other Marvel fans, it's like, how are they connecting? What on earth does Eternals have to do with Shang-Chi? You know what I mean? And on top of that, okay, kind of, I'll, take what I just said, set it aside. Why was Bruce Banner in Shang-Chi not as Professor Hulk? I, as far as I know, I didn't know that his, like, Professor Hulkness was reversible, but there he was in Shang-Chi, all Bruce Banner-y, and so that's a whole nother thing. Honestly, to sum up, I have no idea what is going on in the Marvel Universe. Am I enjoying it? Yes, to some degree, I'm enjoying these movies, but I know that there are people out there that are like me, and they wish that this next set of our life, because the Marvel movies are like my life. I mean, I literally my whole life has been what's the next Marvel movie, when what's it going to be about, coming up with all these theories. That's my whole life, and I just have no idea what this next step is going to be. For today's final segment, it's going to be called Google That Crap. And basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go on my cellular device, and every time I click on it, all right, it brings me up all the trending searches going on in Google right now. And I'm just gonna see what's up, see what's the haps, and look it up on Google and see what's going on. So right now, the one of them is Britney Spears and Jamie Lynn Spears. Okay, let's look it up. Britney Spears. What is this? Jamie Lynn Spears. All right, what's going on? Okay. I hope I saw that. Okay. Slammed for mocking Britney Spears tweets. Britney Spears says she loves Jamie Lynn. Oh, maybe I should start recording. Hold on. Says she loves sister Jamie Lynn unconditionally. Calls public feud so tacky. Okay. On Saturday, the Grammy winner 40 said she loves her younger sister, who's 30. Wow, I did not. Wow, she's the older one? Goodness, she sure doesn't look like it. Brittany. Whoo-wee, that's what drugs will do to you. All right, unconditionally in a lengthy statement posted on Twitter after she initially accused Jamie Lynn of trying to sell a book at her expense. Okay. Jamie Lynn, I don't think your book is about me at all. I said some harsh things because you obviously hurt me by the things you are making up about me, Brittany wrote. The toxic singer also noted that she wasn't referring to Jamie Lynn as a scum person. In her previous statement, I could have sworn I said, but you're not. Okay, so basically two sisters are arguing. I mean, come on, if I wanted to see that, I would just go to family dinner. Ooh, actually, I'm curious about this one. This has been going around. Hostage crisis. What is it? Texas. How do you spell it? Synagogue. That's Jewish church. It says synagogue. Hostage taker. Hostage taker at Texas synagogue identified as British citizen Malik Fazal Akram as British citizen. Hmm. I wonder. I wonder. I wonder if there was any type of intent. I wonder. I wonder why he was in that synagogue. I wonder if a British citizen just wanted to just go up and shoot some Islamic people. Totally not anti-Semitic. No, not at all. Okay, the FBI identified a gunman who held 4 people hostage at a synagogue in Texas on Saturday, leading to an hours-long standoff outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't know if this is right, but Malik Fajal Akram, I'm gonna say that, a British citizen. Okay, they keep emphasizing this British citizen. It's a little sus, but whatever. Held the hostages against their will at the Congressional Beth Israel, a Reform synagogue in the city of Colleyville. According to Matthew DeSarno, the FBI special agent in charge in Dallas, authorities said Akram died during the standoff Saturday night, but did not offer further details. A spokesman for Britain's Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Office said the agency was aware of the death of a British man in Texas, but did not say whether he was referring to the suspect. A spokesperson for British Prime Minister Boris Johnson called the incident a terrible and anti-Semitic act of terrorism, which it was, but we'll keep reading. The Prime Minister's thoughts are with the Jewish community both in Texas and around the world. British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss also issued a statement on Twitter on Sunday condemning the incident as an act of terrorism and anti-Semitism. Correct. We stand with the U.S. in defending the rights and freedoms of our citizens against those who spread hate. Late Sunday, British authorities said the 2 people were being held in connection with Texas standoff. Okay. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory that there were some type of intentions behind what this guy did, but I just think it's misleading that NBC News is saying, held hostage by a British citizen. Like, if I were writing this paper, or this article, I would have said hostage taker at Texas, or I would have said terrorist attack at Texas synagogue by man named Malik. Hostage taker at Texas synagogues turned out to be a British citizen. Makes it one, Britain's problem, which it's not. The fact that he was a British citizen had little to nothing to do with what he did, and 2, it undermines the overall impact of what he did. I mean, it's like they're almost forgetting the fact that this guy walked into a synagogue and purposely killed specifically Jewish people. I think that it's a little crazy that they're kind of calling him, a British citizen, but we'll save that for another day. I want to end today's stream by saying thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you had a great, amazing, just beautiful day. I know I've been having a pretty good day, and I want to thank you double time for watching this video. Genuinely curious, which did you like better? Did you like this format where I just kind of speak at you, just looking in the camera, just me and you, locking eyes, or did you miss it when it was like me talking to like three versions of myself? Just curious. You can have your opinion, positive, negative, I don't care, just let me know. That's all from me today, guys. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope God blesses you in special ways, and I hope that you find a way to enjoy your life, I hope that you just spread positivity. I hope that you smile more, man. Just smile. Come on. All right, guys, that's it for me. See you later. Peace out.